and welcome to your registration to God's Glory or Delight, which is Gospel Spice Ministries Winter 2021 Bible Study. I'm so glad you are here with us today, and our entire team is giddy with excitement as we get ready to enter into a new journey with God. So I hope you've got what matters most, which is your Bible, and we're going to be starting very, very soon. So this is just about welcoming you and just telling you how excited we are and give you a few details, whether you are brand new to Gospel Spice Ministries or you have been with us before. Here's everything you need to know before we kick off this Winter 2021 Bible Study. First of all, you should have gotten a confirmation email as soon as you registered on our registration page. And if you didn't register, you want to go to gospelspice.com/delight and follow the registration button. It's completely free. It will take about 1 minute, 2 minutes of your time, and you'll be all done. I want you to know what to expect. So the idea behind this study is that we provide you with a wide array of ingredients, and then you pick and choose to create your own customized Gospel Spice recipe. If you're following with us live from February 4th to March 25th, 2021, we will provide you with various ingredients. There's going to be in-depth teachings every week. There's going to be optional homework in several formats. There's going to be discussion groups, live Q&A sessions, and more. And what you do is that you're going to mix and match in order to have your own experience of Gospel Spice. So I'm going to give you the various ingredients that are at your disposal. Remember, you don't have to use all of them. From week to week, you may choose different ingredients for a different recipe each week. But this is what is available at your Gospel Spice pantry. First of all, the most important piece, the main ingredient, if you will, is the weekly lesson. It will be a 45-minute teaching by me and other teachers, and that is your key staple ingredient. You don't want to miss that. Every Thursday is going to be the first day of Gospel Spice week. So every Thursday, we're going to kick off the new week by dropping a new video for you to watch at your convenience. It will not be live, but you can watch it starting Thursdays at 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time in the US, and you can watch it at your convenience. It will be posted on Facebook and on YouTube. It will be easy to access from the website. So your hub, where you're going to find all of the ingredients every day, is gospelspice.com/delight. On that page, you will find the links to all of the videos and all of the content, including the weekly lesson. So every Thursday, we'll be dropping a brand new lesson to kick off your week. There will be 7 weeks, which means 7 lessons, and then one final lesson to conclude, which will be lesson number 8, but there will not be anything after it. It will bookend the entire study. So every Thursday morning, available gospelspice.com/delight. That is the primary ingredient of your Gospel Spice recipe. From there, you can build with additional ingredients, but this is what you really don't want to miss. The second type of ingredients available are the homework. And I like to think of them as 5 flavors that you can pick and choose from every week. Each homework session will take you 10 to maybe 30 minutes to complete. And that is largely up to you. How much time you have, how deep you want to go. Some days you will choose to only spend 10 minutes. And then other days you may have more time, or the homework will speak to you more and you will choose to go deeper. So that is up to you. The amount of time you spend on each day of homework is also up to you. That's another ingredient, your own time. I want you to think that you want to do as much as your schedule allows, and you can choose to skip the homework entirely, or you can choose to do 1 to up to 5 days of homework each week. A week is 7 days, and so on one day, on Thursdays, you'll be watching the live, the recorded video, and then from Friday to the following Wednesday, that's 6 days, 5 out of those include potentially the ability for you to add homework as one of your ingredients. because everything is available ahead of time. You can do more on some weeks and less on others. We will be making the entire week of homework available on Thursdays. So on Thursday, you can binge and do everything, or you can pace yourself and do a little bit at a time. That is your option. Some weeks, you can do more days of homework than other weeks. If you have a super crazy busy week, you may not touch the homework that week, and that's okay. And the next week, you might be able to do 1, 2, up to 5 days, and you can even catch up from the previous weeks. Please understand, there is no pressure. I cannot state this strongly enough. There is zero pressure from us to complete the homework. If there is pressure to complete the homework, it comes from you alone. And that is something you need to check between you and God. We believe that the more you're going to invest in something, the more you're going to reap fruit from it. So of course, the more you're going to spend time in God's Word, of course you're going to reap more out of it. But there is no pressure. You do not become a marathon runner overnight. If you've never run in your life, you're not going to get up tomorrow morning and run a marathon. If you've never done a Bible study, if you are in a season of your life that is super busy, it might not be reasonable to expect to do everything. Do as you can. A little bit is much better than nothing because you've given up because it felt like too much. Each week, we're going to provide you with 5 flavors of homework. And you will see that there's 3 days of structured homework. One of them is going to be about worship. Another is going to be about meditation and memorization of scripture. And the third is going to be about practical disciplines on how to learn to delight in the glory of God. And that's the top 3 I recommend that you do. If you can only do 3, you do those 3. But if you're hungry for more, we're providing 2 additional days of unstructured homework. One of them is going to be journaling, and the other is going to be a video review. And in this, we invite you to watch the lesson again if you haven't watched the whole thing, or if you need a second take. Some lessons might be a little more meaty than others. And then you have the option of watching the Q&A session, which is another ingredient, but it can also be one of your days of homework. Again, you're going to create your own Gospel Spice recipe based on what you can handle. Some people love super spicy food. Others absolutely hate too much spice. There's no right or wrong. We're all different. We're all in different stages. You do what works for you. You will not feel any pressure from any of us. And if you are in the next ingredient, which is a small group, a spice jar discussion group, you will find no pressure from your spice jar leader to complete the homework. It is up to you. You'll be encouraged to do it, but you will not be pressured into it. I hope that's very clear. I wish I could take your precious face in my hands and just tell you it's not mandatory. Everything is up to you. That takes me to the next ingredient, which is our live Q&A video sessions every week. That's kind of like your spicy dessert. Every Wednesday morning at 9 a.m., we will go live and answer your questions live on Facebook and YouTube. What I mean by that is that Wednesday is the last day of your week. If Thursday is when we start, Wednesday is when we end. And so to wrap up the week, we're going to address your questions. So throughout the week, if you have any questions pertaining to the lessons that you've heard, to the homework you're doing, to anything you're reading, any of the Bible verses you're reading, anything at all pertaining to this Bible study, God's glory or delight, we want you to send us your questions. There will be several avenues to do this. The contact form on the website, the closed Facebook group, on Instagram. You can send us an email. It's very easy. We will be collecting your questions, and every week I will be answering them. Very simple. And these are your questions. That's how you're bringing your own spice to this particular mix. We're answering your questions about the week that is ending. Any kind of questions at all. Shara, my dear friend, is going to be the one asking the questions and representing you, and I'll do my best to answer them. Now, the other 4th type of ingredient are the spice jar discussion groups. These are completely optional, and actually we probably don't have enough space for everyone, so it's only for those of you who want to go deeper. We want to create a place where you can meet every week with other people who are going through the study. Some of these groups are meeting virtually on Zoom, that's most of them, but a few of them are also meeting face-to-face in several areas of the country, and that works very differently. But these Spice Jar discussion groups are weekly meeting times with these other Gospel Spice members to discuss specifically God's glory or delight. The idea is to bond in fellowship. We're going to provide you with discussion questions every week. And there is a Spice Jar discussion leader. That is someone who has been trained by Gospel Spice Ministries in order to serve you by facilitating the group. These are small groups of 8 to 10, 12 people max, depending on whether it's virtual or face-to-face. And each group is going to be the result of everybody's participation. So it's going to be absolutely unique. So come and add your own flavor to a spice jar and enjoy the flavors that are brought by others on the group. Each spice jar has this leader who is going to facilitate. And in order to be in a spice jar group, the very least you have to do is watch the weekly lesson. The homework is optional, watching the Q&A is optional, but again, it's of course recommended. There are 7 weeks of spice jar meetings because there are 7 weeks of study. Again, when we end on March 25th, there will be nothing after this. If you have indicated on your registration form that you want to join a spice jar, if you have not yet been contacted by someone on our team, just hang on tight. We are getting to you. So if you haven't heard from us, maybe a week before the study starts, then please reach out to us. But we are working on reaching you and on pairing you up. You'll be getting a separate email asking you when are some good times for you to meet on Zoom. A few groups are meeting face-to-face, and that's a very special case because that means that a spice jar leader has organized in order to meet in her home with a group of people. And we cannot arrange these for you because you live all over the world. Our last study had people from 7 countries, and we can't organize physical meetings in different countries. We can only organize Zoom meetings. So if you want to be a spice jar leader, you would have to undergo training with us, but we would be open to the possibility of you opening your home and doing a spice jar in your home if that's the case. But that would not be for this study for sure. In other words, unless you know someone who is doing a spice jar group physically in their homes, you will be part of a virtual group. And that can be from all over the world. If you have not indicated on your registration form that you want to be in a small group, then you will be put in a waiting list. But let us know, reach out to us if you're choosing you want to be in this accountability group that's going to help you bond and fellowship and dig deeper. We may not be able to accommodate everyone, so first come, first served. We have a limited number of spice jar leaders because we care for them deeply and we really want you to be in the best possible hands. So we're very picky when it comes to our discussion leaders because we want them to be the best in order to serve you the best. Now, some practical tips as I'm getting ready to wrap up already. There are several ways for you to already start your Gospel Spice life journey even before God's glory or delight starts on February 4th. Some things you can do between now and February 4th. Things that are good for you and good for us because we are partnering in this together. This isn't a buffet where we do all of the work and then you just eat. You're going to have to enjoy, participate. You might end up cooking a little bit. Why not? Because we're in this together. We're a tiny little ministry. One thing is, if you are on Facebook, join our closed Facebook group. You'll find it on the link on the website. It's called Gospel Spice Life. It's a closed group only for Gospel Spice Ministries Bible Study members. In there, you'll find all the links, a lot of information. It's a great place to hang out with people doing the study. I also invite you to subscribe to our Gospel Spice YouTube channel. So Facebook page, YouTube channel. This is where all the videos are going to be, and it really helps our ministry a lot when we have more subscribers. So you're doing us a favor by doing yourself the favor of making those videos readily accessible for you as well. It's a win-win situation. I also invite you to like our Facebook page, Gospel Spice. We have 2 pages. There's the closed group, but there's also the public page, Gospel Spice. Please like it, follow it, share it. Same thing on Instagram. If you're on Instagram, please follow Gospel Spice Life, as well as my personal account, stephanieroussel.us. Again, it's a way for you to show your support. This study is entirely free, and so these are some of the free ways that you can support us. We really appreciate it, and it also helps us stay in touch, because you're going to find information on social media that is kind of exclusive to social media. Another thing that you could do is getting to know the Gospel Spice podcast. Some of you may join us because you do me the honor of listening to the Gospel Spice podcast, but some of you may not know the Gospel Spice podcast. And if you don't, I would warmly invite you to check it out on your favorite podcast app. It's published weekly, and we provide in-depth teaching either by me or by some of my amazing guests. And they just rock. They're just awesome, those guests. If you are familiar with the podcast, I would ask you to please rate and review it. Rating is giving it 1 to 5 stars, and then reviewing it is making a comment, and that's on your Apple Podcast app. It could be on the Gospel Spice website directly. It helps a lot. It really does. What that does is the way the podcast app works. The more people comment and review and rate, the more Apple Podcasts in particular is going to show the podcast and people's results. So people who are looking for a biblical podcast, if they search biblical podcast to gospel podcast, the more we have ratings and reviews, the more Gospel Spice podcast is going to pop up, and complete strangers can discover the Gospel Spice podcast, which I hope can be a blessing to them. You can also share it with your friends. Word of mouth is the best way, the best support you can give us. So if you want to thank us, take a moment right now, write down the name of 5 family or friends and tell them about the podcast. Share the link. Tell them that you like this podcast and have them check it out. That is tremendously helpful. Now, I was mentioning that this study, God's Glory or Delight, is entirely free. It is completely free. We're never asking you for money to participate in a study, because we at Gospel Spice Ministries strongly believe that God calls us to make the Gospel Spice content available for free for everyone. This includes this new Bible study, so you get to enjoy this completely for free, as well as all of the previous Bible studies we've done. We've done a study on Tabernacle, we've done a study on Proverbs. That also includes the Gospel Spice podcast, which is completely free to listen to. The Gospel Spice podcast, by the way, reaches people in over 60 countries at this point, primarily in the States, largely in the States, but 60 countries nonetheless. It's all free, but it's actually costly to create. We also partner with organizations that aim to fight human trafficking in ways that we cannot, but we want to support them. And what we do is that every cent that is given to us by donations goes to those organizations after we've deducted our logistical costs, the costs to cover the various programs that we do. But everything goes there. So you can know for a fact that if you donate money to us, we're not keeping any for ourselves except to cover our costs. We are a nonprofit organization. We are registered as a nonprofit 501c3 on a federal level. So we have serious accounting and accountability. You can be sure that your money goes to pay our costs, but then it goes to organizations that fight human trafficking when there's anything left over. So we do welcome your financial support. And there's several ways you can do that. It's all optional. It's another ingredient. It's for you to add your own ingredient in the Gospel Spice recipe. A simple way that doesn't cost you anything is to to choose Gospel Spice Ministries as your Amazon Smile charity. To do that, there's a link on our website. If you go to gospelspice.com/donate, it's going to send you very quickly to Amazon Smile, where you can click and select Gospel Spice Ministries. You'll have to type Gospel Spice Ministries, and you can select that. What that does is that every time you make a purchase on Amazon, 0.5% of your purchase is donated to us by Amazon. It doesn't cost you anything. Amazon gives us that money. I know it's not a lot, 0.5%. It means that every time you spend $100, we're getting 50 cents. But it doesn't cost you anything. So why not do it? If you're shopping on Amazon, you might as well give back to your favorite charity, and we could be that charity. Another way is that you can make a tax-deductible donation by PayPal, by Venmo, by direct deposit, by check, anything that works for you. It's tax-deductible, which means you will not be paying taxes on the amount that you give us. So you're saving a little bit by doing that. It could be a one-time donation. It could be a monthly recurring donation. It doesn't have to be a lot of money. If you give us $10 a month, that's the price of 2 fancy cups of coffee, you can really help move this ministry forward. So I will let you decide that between you and the Lord. And to conclude, I just want to tell you that whether you are new to Gospel Spice or whether you've been with us for quite some time, we are so giddy with excitement to welcome you. It's an honor to serve you. It truly is at the heart of everything we do. And over the next few weeks, we are going to enter into an amazing journey towards that heavenly goal to delight in the glory of God. I'll see you very soon for our first video lesson. Go to gospelspice.com/delight for more details. Find us on social media. I cannot wait to start this journey with you.